Hey guys, welcome back to Jimmy Make Music. No fancy intros today. Let's just cut to the chase. You know what you're here for. Let's get to work. Now, lately I've been getting a lot of questions about ASCAP, that is the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, which is a PRO that collects a certain type of royalty, what we'll get into. And I've noticed there's a lot of concern of what information to put where while you're registering the song. When you register a song on ASCAP, they ask for a lot of information, and about 90% of it, you don't really even need to put anything. They'll have information boxes to fill out for that song to cover all bases of almost any use for that record. Just a quick recap for some newbies. It's a performing rights organization that collects royalties for you, mostly from sync licensing, that is like on commercials, TV, film, and radio play. They do collect a little bit of a percentage from streaming services, but their main focus is sync licensing. That being said, when you go to ASCAP.com, you'll click on the Music Creators section, click Join. You'll want to be a writer and a publisher. They will ask for all your tax information regarding that. They'll also lay out what other information you'll need to make an account. It's really just for tax purposes, your social security number, and if you have a company, you'll need your tax ID. Now let's imagine you have an account, you're logging in to register a song. And you'll be brought to a main dashboard. In this dashboard, it has information about your works, what cue sheets you're on. Cue sheets are really just information that TV and film networks will use to organize what audio they use. You just get a copy of that, basically. And then there'll be different information about your earnings for the year. That's not what we're here for, though. Let's imagine you're going to register a new work. It starts off pretty simple. I want to register a song that I just wrote, so I'm going to take you step by step how that process goes. The work title is really just the name of the song. Poster Boy. You can add an alternative title if you'd like. Say if your title was Poster Boys or Posters Boy or something that can get mixed up. This will help ASCAP more easily identify the song. Just underneath that section, there's a writer and publisher section. This is the most important part. This is where you're going to put all the writers' names and the publishers' names. So just to be clear, if you write any piece of a song, you are considered a writer on there and can be added to these options. So if you are in the studio and just say, hey, don't say that, say this, you would be considered a writer on the song. That holds true for the instrumentation too. So if you add any part of the melody or write any part of the music instrument-wise, you would be considered a writer too. The entire song, writers and publishers share, is going to add up to 100%. So all the writers' share will be 50%, and all the publishers' share will be 50%. No matter how many writers or how many publishers you want to add, it all must add up to 50% for the writers, 50% for the publishers, all equaling 100%. Why they do it like that, I don't know. It wasn't like that years and years ago. But now it is. You're going to simply plug in your information. Let's assume that you were the writer and you were the publisher. And you'll put your role. In this, I was the composer. And it's just me. So it only has to add up to 50%. If I was going to add another writer, this share percentage and this share percentage would have to add up to 50%. So if there's just two, mine would be 25 and the other writers would be 25. It's going to be the identical type of setup when you do the publishing side. So you're going to pick your publisher's name. I always have my territory on world. Some people will not be marketing to the world, so it doesn't make sense for them. This share, again, will be 50% because there's only one publisher. If you see down here, you can add an admin or a sub-publisher. This is really if you are working with a publisher who is not an ASCAP member. So you can put their publisher name, their PRO, and then their IPI. That's basically like an identifying number with their account. But if you want to add a publisher that is an ASCAP member, you just put add publisher, and you can add their information here. All this is pretty self-explanatory. It's the information down below this that seems to trip people up. You'll see there's a ton of options below here for all different types of information, and you're not going to use all of this all of the time. In fact, they don't want you to. if you don't need to. It even says at the end of every question, if not, skip, if not, skip, if not, skip. Let's go through each one so you can fully understand what they're asking for. Has this work been recorded? So in here, you're really going to put information that pertains to distribution. So the recording artists say, I'm not going to put my legal name. I'm going to put my actual recording artist name. So say it's Jimmy Make Music. The sound recording title is going to be the same as the name of the work title. Poster Boy. Your ISRC is a digital code identifying your track on streaming services or in other stores. So you'll get that number actually from your distributor. So let's say hypothetically I was registering this song Trip with ASCAP. I would take this ISRC code, copy that, and paste it in here. And that helps ASCAP track those streams. Then you just put your official release date, which will be in your distributor's information too. You can add more than one recording. So say if you wrote the song and multiple people recorded it, you can add another one. Same information here. You would put the recording artist's name, not their legal name. You can put their stage name, whatever they prefer. And this will help track that. The main important thing is to have that correct ISRC code. I don't have an ISRC code for this Poster Boy record yet, and I don't have a release date, so I can just leave that. I don't have this record set up for distribution yet, so I don't have an ISRC code or a release date, but I can fill those in later because you can edit any registered song you have with ASCAP later on down the road. As you get more information, you might want to plug other information in. This next section asks, has this work been performed? And that means whether it's in your basement or on the street corner or in a concert hall, and you would put the performer's stage name there. You don't have to use their legal name unless they ask you. Maybe it's the same. Maybe their legal name is their stage name. I prefer to use the stage name just to separate a performance from a writing, if that makes any sense. A performer doesn't always write the song or vice versa. Then I ask you if this work was intended for commercial, film, or other product. Basically, it's asking you if the song's intended purpose was like a theme song or intended for background music for a movie, or a radio commercial. That's what this radio TV stuff means. This is more like commercial. The song I'm registering right now is not intended for that, so I don't have to worry about that, and I can skip that. The next section is asking if it's a concert work. I don't ever have to worry about this, so I can skip this. The next section is asking me if there's a sample in it. There's not, but if there were, I would put the title of the work used and the writer's name and their IPI information. So anything attached to that writer's ASCAP information. Do not register a song with samples in it without them being cleared. It'll say right on the top of here, by completing this section, you are confirming you have permission to use copyrighted music and lyrics. So don't do that. The next section is asking, does this work use public domain elements? This is really for just administration work to kind of keep track of even public domain songs. So you'll put the work title and the writer's name. The ISWC is really, it's like an ISRC. Not all songs in the public domain have that. You don't necessarily have to put that number in if you can't find it. And the last section is pretty self-explanatory. Do you know the performance time of this work in hours, minutes, and seconds? So I'm going to go through and double check all the information that pertains to this registration is correct before I submit it. So I know I have my work title is correct, my writers are all accounted for, my publishers are accounted for, my writer share adds up to 50, my publisher share adds up to 50. There's no other publishers or admins on here. It'll save this information. I can always plop the ISRC code in later once it's going to distribution. I've performed this song so far. Another performer did not just yet, and we filled out the rest of this information as it pertains to this track. After that, you click submit. Sometimes it doesn't take the first time. This is good. If there's a glitch in the matrix here, just save the draft, go back to it, and hit submit again. So once you get to this screen, your registration is submitted. You can either register a whole new work, or you can actually copy all the information you just put in into another registration form and just change the title of the song. So you don't have to constantly put in the same information. So I am done. I'm going to go back to my work list. And there it is, right on top. It's been accepted. Click on it to make sure everything is there. Now keep in mind, you can edit this information at any time. You can add a writer, you can add a publisher, you could add another performer. So I hope this helped you out finding out what you need in registering your song with ASCAP. As you can see, there's a lot of information, but most of it you don't really need to fill out. In fact, most of the information when you're first registering a song, you don't even have yet, like your ISRC codes or your release date. You can always go back into your ASCAP account in that song and edit the information if you need to. One thing I want to touch on too, I was doing all of this through my writer's account. I have a writer's and a publisher's account, like you should too, but I like to register all the songs under one account so that everything's under one roof, so to speak. It doesn't matter whether you register it with your publisher's account or your writer's account because all the information will be the same. But if you want to keep things a little bit more organized, maybe just use one account or the other when you're registering songs. All right, that's all I got for today, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Jimmy, make music.